Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with episode 8 of The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventure in Another World. This time we get a bit of an interesting episode. It takes place during chapter 10, but it's basically kind of a filler episode. We learn it's a giant big backstory about our man, Kakuranger, Red as he is, our man Togo. We get a big giant backstory for him. And it's kind of interesting. And it's brought up upon because Ranya and Red are talking about their some childhood friends. You know, Ranya's Azure Kuja, the main villain for this arc coming up, and Red's talking about his friendship with Kuro Shindo, who he met through after his parents passed away. He's Daigo Shindo's son. Apparently, I saw this on X that this is supposed to be a representation of the Ninja Ranger from not Ninjanger, but the equivalent of the ninja when Mighty Morphin became ninjas. Basically, I think that's a reference to him. I only saw one place and I couldn't find that reference ever again. But regardless, we get a giant backstory. Basically, how he got part of his family and how their friendship started, and just basically how he basically became an evil person for a while and how he kind of dealt with it. It's a very cool backstory, though there are some problems with this. There's some problems with this episode. A couple of things that I think worth pointing out. The first being, so as he's telling the story, he mentions that when the villain starts showing up, the Breakup King and his minions, is when he suddenly transforms. It happens while he's in high school and he's transforming. Now, in the anime in episode 5, it mentions that he showed his secret, but Daigo and his family, even Kiro, don't seem to know that he's Kizuna Red. I think there's a little bit more hint that he might know, Kihiro, but that's about it, which is kind of interesting. I'm like, well, he revealed his secret within the first week or so. I'm like, more people will be talking about it, so that was a little bit out of character. And also, it takes place during high school. It seemed like he was doing the Kizuna Red for a couple of years or so. We don't exactly have a good time frame when he graduated. I mean, we know that our main character is 19, so supposedly I think he may be 18 before he came to the other world or so, or he was about to turn 19 before he became 19. I don't know. It's a bit kind of interesting, the timeline. Because usually Super Sentai shows last for years, and it does show he was still in high school, and you would think 17 or so he would have graduated by now, or give or take. It just seemed kind of a bit weird that the time frame. There is one other mistake which we'll get into in the end, but this episode did show off some very important bits that are going to come up later. One of them, maybe you might not catch a reference, but there's a bigger one. And that being, we get the introduction of Betrayus, Yurgis Betrayus. He's very important coming up later. We're not going to meet. I don't think we're going to meet him in this season, but we're definitely going to be hearing more about him we're going to hear more out throughout the season. He's probably going to come near the end, because I'm thinking this manga, the season's going to end around chapter 16. I think 15 or 16, give or take, which is probably a good place to check out. That's what my research told me. But yeah, so they're going to stop. They're going to stop about there. We're going to meet him. He is the one who turns his friend into Kiro to Bond Killer. And the reason he became Bond Killer is because he's super jealous of Kizuna Red, basically becoming a son that everyone liked in his family. Like Daigo loved him, his mom liked him, sister. One interesting bit is I thought the sister might try to hook up with him, but Kizuna Red. But no, there's they have a segment at the very end, yeah, I shouldn't be talking to you about love advice from you. I'm like, yeah. So I kind of found it funny that he stayed true to a very much sibling relationship, and rather than romantic. I don't know. I like that aspect. I was a bit unexpected given that anime loves to do their incest stories or near incest shtick. So that was very cool. The number of times Bond Killer definitely attacked was funny. They do introduce a brand new mecha temporarily. He gets a very cool mecha. I thought this was the Aquarian Age reference, but no, it comes later in the fight. Yeah, there is a bunch of references to Super Sentai. The only one a couple I knew right off the bat that I could saw. There's the one from Dawn Brothers with Kichi Brother. There was the Ninja Rangers from the season I mentioned, the old season. I only watched one episode, but I knew the support. And then I think there's Go Busters. I recognized Red and Yellow specifically because I saw Yellow's little rabbit mecha, and there's a few other ones from from Kamen Rider. There is also the Delta Squad, the police Power Rangers SPD Japanese version. There's a lot of good references. It was very fun, but yeah, I really appreciate the crossovers. Another reference going back to around the time we seen Eurygus is we see Black Kizuna Red. This is going to come up later. I think this is not going to be based on the manga. This is not going to be what he looks like in the anime because the manga gives a lot bit more detail. But we're seeing a prototype this is a prototype version of what he's supposed to look like. I super excited for this form to be in the series, but we get a teaser of that. Interesting. We do Red's backstory does get mentioned in the manga, but we do get a little bit more in depth. I'm assuming that might actually get revisited when we see Kizuna Black. We're gonna see a little bit more detail about that because it is important for how Kizuna Black comes about. What else? Finally, let's go into a little bit of the mistake. So, in the anime, the main villain shows up and everybody gets turned into cards, including Yijira, which is not supposed to happen. Yijira does not get turned into a card. I'm wondering how they're going to retcon this because Yijira actually does a bit of it in the battle, and then when she does get captured, it's a very significant moment, so it's a bit weird. I don't know. That was probably like my biggest complaint. I mean, it was a very cool filler episode. We got a Bond Kizuna opening. We see that Yidra is very jealous of Rania when they're talking. She gets like super jealous. Logi thinks like, I think the woman is sick. Like, I don't think that's right. Daltana. Another thing that I appreciate was Red actually picks up on the fact that Rania cares about Azir. Like he knew that she was worried about him. Like he's got some semblance of things, and even the anime shows that he's like even though he's oblivious to love, he at least recognizes it. He's not a complete idiot, although Yidra's feelings are a bit Yidra's feelings are very open. Like it's definitely obvious that she kind of likes him, but I'm wondering because I think he does acknowledge that he's just not sure what to do with it at the moment. It does get brought up later, but yeah, I don't think he's completely oblivious. I just think he doesn't know what to deal with the romance aspect of his life. Yeah, I'm gonna end the episode here. I like this episode. Just minor one complaint. I love seeing the backstory, flesh it out his backstory, seeing the references. I really loved Bond Killer's mecha. It's super cool. It just was so well designed, and even the fight and everything. I love the Aquarian reference. It just like it's very quick, and he's like, oh, this is a mecha from like 2,000 years ago. It's like it was very good. I'm looking forward to the next episode. That should be still very interesting, and I'm very curious to see where it's going to end up. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys next time for episode 9.